as we've been discussing in the past days, we've been talking about blended family. And we established the fact that one of the reasons why people will have to enter into another marriage relationship may have to do with separation, divorce, and death, and what any other reason, better known to whoever takes that decision. We want to see how best we can help curb or control divorce. And that leads to the idea or the inspiration to discuss mate selection.
Okay.
So that we will be able to take our time. When we say we are ready to marry, there are things that we have to look out for.
Okay.
If you are ready to settle, if you are ready to now say, this is my fiancé, and this is someone I want to spend the rest of my life with, it is important to look out for certain things.
Okay.
And when we are able to identify or solve those things, the probability that divorce or separation will set in will be very high.
Okay.
And that will help maintain marriages.
Okay.
Very, very important. So we want to say that mate selection is a process. It's a process of choosing a partner with whom you want to spend the rest of your life with. It is not a one-day something. It is not something that you just, make up your mind, I want to marry or I want to settle, and therefore this is the one I want to settle with, and it ends there. No, it's a whole process.
Okay.
And if those processes are well, taken, it will reduce divorce.
Okay.
People will love themselves, they will care for each other, and as a matter of fact, people will live happily.
Okay.
Yes, amidst all the challenges that comes with marriage, because you take your time to select whomever you are going in for, you will still be able to live with the person.
Okay.
We want to establish that marriage is God's mind. Because he wants to make family. He wants to increase himself. He instituted marriage.
Okay.
He wants man to have that relaxation. So he instituted marriage. He wants man to relate with each other.
Okay.
So he instituted marriage. There are so many reasons for which God, instituted marriage. So that when there is divorce, it makes God sad. He brought Eve to Adam and said, Adam, this is a woman for you. This is your kind. I call her Adam. The original name of Eve was Adam. Yeah, search through the scriptures. So no wonder you respectfully put your name on that woman you marry. And it's an honor.
I never knew this.
So you see that it's not straightforward to put your name on someone. It's an honor. So God first and foremost honored man by putting his name on the woman and said she is Adam. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mate selection. Today we want to just lay few foundations so that as time goes on or with the following weeks as we meet, we'll begin to properly discuss these processes.
Okay.
So today we are just laying foundation. Yes, we are just laying foundation.
Sure.
I want to make it clear that we don't marry on the street.
Okay.
We don't also marry at the bar, at the funeral, at the church.
Okay.
So that because I mentioned we don't marry at the church,
At the
and
church.
that create a kind of argument on someone's mind.
Yeah.
What I want to say is you don't go to the church looking for wives
Okay.
or husbands.
Okay.
Those at the church are the same people on the street. You understand?
Yeah.
We marry from the home.
Okay.
We marry from the house. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So we marry from the family.
Okay.
We marry from family. So if we are selecting our mates, we should be sure these are people who belong to a family.
Family.
You understand?
Yeah.
You don't hide somewhere and be cohabiting and say that we are studying ourselves to see if we are compatible.
Oh, okay. So even in that stage, you need to involve the family.
You need the family. If you're a lady and you want a husband, get the husband from the family.
From the family. Wow.
And the man should also get the wife from the family. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, this is interesting.
Eliezer, from Genesis chapter 24, of course, met Isaac's wife at the well, but sent her to the family.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
The lady sent Eliezer and the servant to the family.
Family.
Eliezer followed the lady to the family.
Interesting.
So you don't meet the lady at KFC and start proposing marriage whilst you do not know the family in which she comes from.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't meet her at school, on campus, and start proposing what? Marriage.
Marriage. Yeah.
Mate selection. He or she should be in your circle of friends.
Okay.
You don't marry stranger.
Okay.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Your wife to be or your husband to be should be in a circles of your friends.
All right. So you need to know the person, at least some information about the person.
Exactly. So you don't get this person and make her the special one and believe that very soon we're going to no, have all of them as your friend. Study them.
Okay.
Keep watching them.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Keep watching them. When we start building from the foundation, we'll hear words like filtering, to filter, to filter.
Okay.
So you have many friends.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have many female friends,
Mm-hmm.
and now you need to filter them.
Okay.
Which one will be compatible to me?
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
You know, mate selection. You cannot do without fervent prayers. Because it is God who gives wife. It is God who gives husbands.
Okay.
And I must establish that every individual person has his or her wife hiding somewhere. His or her wife hiding somewhere, his husband hiding somewhere. And it will take prayers to bring that person out.
Okay.
Yes. You understand?
Yeah. Get you.
You don't just wake up and start looking around and, you know, there is this game. Pimpna, nana, pimpna, nana, see, nanaku, and then you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You don't sit down and start writing specs.
Yeah.
I want
this.
and then I want that, and I want to see this in the person. TikTok, short, cute, here and there. You know, those things are simply delusions. They are not real.
But I think that is what most people also concentrate even on before they even look at any other.
So we'll have them divorcing in the process of time, because the things you see standing, with time, they'll begin to fall. And when they fall, will you be ready to still stand and stay? You understand?
That's another great question to answer.
Very, very serious. So, if you are going in for the standing things, you should also know that whatever is standing will fall at a point in time.
Whatever is standing will fall at a point in time.
So when it begins to fall, you still appreciate.
I get it.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Let me shift a little bit. Remembering that the woman with all her figures, you make her pregnant, you disfigure her. You understand?
Yeah.
Pregnancy has a way of changing the very beautiful figure you see. So after you've made this woman carry your babies, 1, 2, 3, remember what you saw before will not be the same.
Exactly. So the outside beauty changes with time.
It will change. It will change. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The 4 parts you see today, I mean 6 parts they call it.
Yeah.
You see today. Remember the precious from work and the late male will definitely cover the 4 parts. And the stomach of your husband will begin to grow big.
Yeah. Oh.
So we are talking about mate selection. And there are things that you actually have to look out for. We say you need to pray.
Yeah.
Because your husband is somewhere. Your wife is somewhere. And what will attract them and bring them to you is in the hands of God. And it will be released by prayers. Constant prayers. And waiting. Being patient with God.
Okay.
I get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you don't look at your age and go make a decision that later on, 3 years after, you begin to look elsewhere. So commit it to God in prayers. Trust God to bring your partner, to bring your race, wherever it is. God has a way of connecting the two of you. And when you meet, you will find comfort in each other.
Okay.
Yes. Rebecca saw Isaac that evening. The scripture said Isaac was praying. He was on the field meditating. In your mate selection, look out for a prayer or a praying partner.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Because marriage is a spiritual thing. It's not just physical.
Yeah.
And you need someone to stand with you in prayers.
Someone always says that marriage is not a sprint that you want to quickly rush and finish.
No.
Even if there's a finishing line, it's a marathon.
And you need to spread your energy.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
In marathon, you spread your energy to cover.
Mm-hmm.
We are not necessarily looking for who wins, but who will be able to finish. And the finishing point of marriage is when death do both of you apart.
Yeah.
Not when the pressures of this world, when there's no money to cater for the family, then you begin to look elsewhere. A man who has the money, a man who can take care of you, then marriage is done apart. No, 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 no. The only thing that will do marriage or brings marriage to an end, to that finishing point of the marathon, should be death. And it's important for us to spread our energy. It is important for you to look out for someone that you can confidently spend the rest of your life with. So you do your selections carefully, prayerfully. It is on the mind of God that every gentleman must marry. It is on the mind of God that every lady must marry. And he has made provision for each and every one. To meet that person, commit it to God in prayers.
But I mostly hear people, I don't know if it's to comfort those who are not married, that not everyone will marry, so not everyone will marry. Yes.
But maybe let me shift your attention a little bit. In 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 7, I wish you, if you have your Bible with you, yes, 2 Corinthians. Let's look at the 1 Corinthians first. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 7.
Okay. First Corinthians chapter 7, the verse 7. I wish that all of you were as I am.
Okay.
But each of you has your own gift from God. One has this gift, another has that. Now to the unmarried.
Now to the unmarried
and the widows, I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried, as I do. But if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So he's saying to the unmarried, to the widow, to the widower. You understand?
Yeah.
Paul said he wished all men are like him. Don't marry.
Yeah.
But you see, to some it is given not to marry.
Yeah.
So having said that, God has you on mind that you should marry. Of course, there are others that God has positioned them not to marry.
Okay. For a particular cause.
For a particular cause.
Okay. And I think some people also decide not to. Although it might be against the plans of God for them.
Good. So at the end of the day, Paul mentioned that today you're married.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Still unmarried.
Yeah.
But to them who are gifted to marry. Marry. But if you cannot control that passion,
that fire,
marry.
Sure.
You don't go about,
firing everywhere.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we are saying that if you want to marry, marry. If you don't want to marry, don't go about spitting everywhere.
Yeah.
Sleeping here, sleeping there.
Wow.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Commit it to God in prayers. Commit it to God in prayers. Not everyone will marry. And not everyone will also marry and give birth.
Okay.
Let us appreciate that. So we have the option to what? To adapt.
Okay.
But let's put that one aside. We are establishing the fact that you need to select whomever you want to stay and spend the rest of your life with. And you must start with prayers.
Okay.
Don't go marrying on the street. Don't make sex a priority. Many people have made sex their priority, and today they are still single.
They've set high standards
for themselves. You understand?
Yeah.
Our real nothing. Heading. And see, oh, see, so be worry no. Oh, pe obia worry no. And who be here say, Udin pai bobe den, ebe shasi. Because ewo nyankopon trimu se obeden obeware ewo nyankopon trimu se ese onya ahukafo eden ema. So if it's on the mind of God to give you a wife or a husband, I said you should take it from his hands through prayers. Prayers will attract that person, that rightful person, into your life. That rightful person, like I said, does not mean will not come with challenges. The rightful person will still come with challenges because that person is a human being. Let me establish one fact. Don't marry prophecy.
Can you explain this?
I will explain. You see, there are so many prophecies around. You will marry this person.
Okay.
This person is your wife. this person is your husband.
Okay.
And immediately there are challenges. People think because the person is birthed out of prophecy, the person is going to live perfectly. But God, who presented Eve to Adam, also had challenges. So you don't conclude that because this person is being prophesied to me by my prophet, therefore I am marrying. No. In your mate selection, do you have that same conviction that this person is my husband or this person is my wife? Not because the pastor or the prophet is saying it, but because I am also convinced. You also have the Spirit of God inside you. And that spirit communicates to your spirit. So don't go marrying prophecy. I'm sorry, but you see, we need to be very realistic.
Yeah.
We want to reduce divorce. We want to reduce separation. Till death do the couples apart. Yeah. There should be no divorce. That is what we are talking about.
Interesting.
So we are saying that your ribs is somewhere, and you can bring that ribs to yourself through prayers.
Okay. Wow.
Marry someone who can stand with you in times of difficulties. Look at the guy who is proposing to you. Is it someone who can endure? Look at the lady standing before you, showing all the curves, and ask yourself, will she be able to endure?
Wow.
In mate selection, I want to establish again, don't trap yourself with pregnancy. Don't say that, well, he has made me pregnant already. So let's just marry.
Let's just marry. Wow. That is interesting. That is where I want us to leave off for today.
All right.
It's very, very interesting. Don't
Trap
be
yourself.
don't be deceived.
Don't be trapped
Yeah.
by pregnancy.
You know, most people make that mistake, and families stick to it and enforce that this happens. We have to continue from here next week, and I want us to pick some comments that you left with us,
Okay.
so that Counsellor will give his final words, and we'll come back next week to continue from here. So Ahusi says, prayer is key in finding your partner. Havna says, marriage is God's blessing. Thank you, Counsellor. Morgan Luke says, pray before you marry. Thank you, team. And then Pacom says, don't marry prophecy. Interesting. Tyler Aaron says, don't go marrying prophecy. Yes, it is true. At a point, I didn't understand it, but now I yes, I do understand. And this is a mistake that most Christian ladies do, most Christian men do, and even so many people who find themselves believing in spirituality. Yeah, think, oh, once I saw this person in my dream, that is it. So, Counsellor, we want to leave off here on this note. Your final words to viewers and listeners.
So I want to trust God that our meetings and our discussions will go a long way to encourage people to make right choices and stay by their choices, so that those who are celebrating 30 years in marriage, 40 years in marriage, we can also join them. 50 years in marriage, we can also join them, because there is blessing in marriage. Thank you.
All right. So there is blessing in marriage, and that is coming from Counsellor Tony. So this is where we leave off for today. We want to say a very big thank you and God bless you to all of you for joining us today. So to our families, our loved ones, those who joined, those who give us comments, we say thank you. God bless you. Meet us next week, 7 p.m. live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on Peny Radio. It is Time with the Counselor.